Okay, so today we're going to be doing magnetic fields for Physics 200. The first part is just to kind of get a feel for how magnetic fields point around bar magnets. So I have this bar magnet, red is north and yellow is south, and I'm going to put it down in the little rectangle for it on the sheet. And we're just going to put compasses in these circles to show the direction of the field. Now, we have these little compasses, and I'm not sure if you can see, but there's an orange end and a silver end. And the orange end is the north end of these compasses, and so it's going to point towards the south end of the magnet. It's going to tell you the direction of the field line. And so if you put the compasses in these circles, you get an idea that the field points out of the north, and it's going to loop around and it's going to point back into the south. So the red end points away from the north, it points towards the south along parallel to the magnet on the sides, and then it comes back and points in to the south end of the magnet on that end. So what we would do is fill these in, and you would notice that you would get an arrow pointing towards the south end, an arrow pointing parallel to the magnet towards south, parallel to the magnet towards south, and then out of north. And a little bit later, we're going to do a more in-depth study of the field lines around a single bar magnet. But this is just to kind of get an idea of how the compass works and how the field roughly looks around a bar magnet. So after that, we have something a little more complex. Let me go grab my second bar magnet. So now we're going to look at the field between two bar magnets. The first case, which I hope is showing up, is going to be north on one side, and south is yellow, remember, on the other side. And so again, we're just going to put the compasses in on the circles and kind of see how it goes. It's not quite big enough. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And so you should be able to tell all of the orange ends of the compass are again pointing towards the south end of the one bar magnet and away from the north end of the other bar magnet. We're going to do the case where north is facing north. And so close to the north end, you're going to point away from the north. And then similarly on this north end, you're going to point away from the north. But it gets interesting as you get more towards the center. So these are actually pointing up and down. And the reason for that is your field lines are going to come in and kind of curve away because they don't connect to the north end. They want to connect to a south end, and so you're going to get this general idea. And now the question is, what happens to a compass in the middle? And so it's hard to find the exact middle since I just placed these arbitrarily on paper. But if you notice, as I shift it side to side, it flips depending on which one it's closest to. And if I could get it dead center, you would find that there was nowhere for it to point, that it would just sort of aimlessly spin, looking for, or making the fact that there is, at the very center, no field. So there's no field at that point, and so there's nowhere for the compass to point. Since we can't make the compass a point size, it's always going to be a little bit of a field for it to follow. But as you slide it side to side, you can notice that it moves around and flips depending on which magnet it is slightly closer to.